Good afternoon, Menham Squad. I hope you guys are having an awesome day here, and hopefully you guys had a great day, whether if you guys came home from work or from school. Let's just go ahead and just jump right into today's video, everybody. Well, my apologies, everybody. So, yes, we are going to be going over some bad reptile care guides that really are cliche now these days. And of course, now that it's 2022, obviously the reptile care guide has really evolved for the last 10 years. And I tell you what, it's really incredible how much knowledge and research has been done with reptile care for the last 10 years. Now, obviously, you guys are seeing me read this book right here, Popular Monitor and Tegus, the Practical Manual for the Serious Hobbyist. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. I've had this book now for a couple years, but I never really read it. But I figured let's go ahead and go over it and see how old this book is. Let's see, I'm not seeing what year it was created in. Copyright 1997. Okay, interesting. That is bizarre. Here, you guys see that? 1997. This book is like 25 years old. 25 years old. And the healthcare information in here, we're going to get right into it right off the bat. Monitors are moderate to large-sized lizards belonging into the genus Varanus with the family Varanidae. Their closest living relatives are the Helidoramid, I can't say it correctly, which is Gila monsters and Mexican beaded lizards, and an extremely rare, obscure animal called the Bornean earless lizard. Now, when we talk about monitor lizards now these days, this book came out, like I said, in 1997. Now, monitor lizards, believe it or not, there are many different species out there in the hobby. You know, while it is true that most of them are like medium to large size, there are a few species in the hobby too that actually stay pretty small, where they get no bigger than about maybe 2, almost 3 foot long. And to be aware, you guys, about 99% of monitor lizards are carnivorous. 99% of them. But with that being said, though, I'm going to go ahead and see what else we can find out in this book here. Let's go ahead and turn to chapter. Let's go to feeding. Page 27. 27. This should be interesting. Most adult and juvenile monitors at about 1 foot or more in total length will readily devour prey-killed rodents or baby chickens. Well, I guess that's pretty still accurate. Some of them do prefer frozen thawed rodents or baby chicks. Sometimes. They are also quite fond of eggs. Sometimes they are offered fresh fish. Some do eat fish, like Asian water monitors. I could see them eating some fish. They are also quite fond of eggs, and an occasional egg can be given, but only use egg yolk or embryonated eggs obtainable in health food markets. The whites of non-embryonated eggs contain avidin, which in excess can induce a biotin, vitamin B, deficiency. This problem manifests itself as a generalized diffuse muscular weakness. A safe option is to offer cooked eggs, which eliminates both the avidin and salmonella. Okay, so that's still pretty accurate. I can see that with monitor lizards. Now let's see here. Let's go to housing and general maintenance. There are several things to consider before selecting a cage or enclosure for your Savannah monitor. Well, any monitor if you get one. For young specimens, all glass tanks with a locking screen top are available in many pet stores and can be a reasonable good choice. These are easy to find, easy to clean, and provide a good view of your lizard. Now, the easy to clean part, I think it depends, I guess. I guess they're not too difficult, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it about a 4 for cleaning. Purchase one as large as possible because your monitor will definitely grow into it. Or perhaps out of it is more accurate. Certainly a 30 or 55 gallon tank would not be too small to start. Maybe for a juvenile, like a baby one probably. But I think if you're getting one that's going to be at least a 5-6 foot long lizard, you're probably going to want to upgrade to at least 120 gallons, at least. So as I'm reading this book, for a larger individual that's over 3 foot long, it just says it's necessary to get a larger enclosure, but it doesn't say what size though. But I guess they do say the bigger the enclosure, I guess the better. I guess this kind of works. But with that being said though, there is still some things in this book that really have outdated though. Alright, well I think that's enough of this one. Let's go ahead and move on to the boa constrictor manual. I cannot wait to read this one, see how this one goes. Alright, so this snake boa manual is copyrighted in 1998. That is a really old one right there, you guys. Super, super old. Holy cow. So first thing we're gonna try is, let's go to page 19 where it says housing your pet boa. Okay, so this picture that I'm seeing right here, I'm gonna show you guys. You guys see this picture, right? And tell me if you guys can see the boa in this picture. Let me know in the comments if you can. Maybe in the lighting it will help. But you can definitely tell that tank for that little boa is way, way too small. That's probably like a 10-gallon terrarium, 10-gallon terrarium right there. And that's a little baby, looks like a common boa in there. And for a baby one, it's gonna need a lot bigger enclosure than that. But yeah, like I said, this book is pretty much outdated since it was founded in '98 and it's 2022. But yeah, with that being said, there is just a lot in this book. So okay, here we go. The minimum size enclosure for a baby boa should be at least 24 inches long and preferably 36 inches long and 15 to 24 inches tall. For an adult boa, the minimum length should be 6 feet, except for small morphs such as Hog Island boas and small adult males. The minimum I give it is probably about, maybe a bit bigger than 6 feet. Probably we're talking about 8 foot at least, the length of the enclosure here. For an adult boa, anyway. But for a baby one though, they're saying at least 24 inches long. Preferably, I think that's, baby, still a bit small. I would probably go with a 3 foot long terrarium at the minimum for a start for a baby. Alright, now let's go to check on heating and lighting, page 26. The background air temperature in a boa's enclosure should be 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, they're not saying specifically on what kind of boa, they're just saying a boa enclosure. So they're not specifically being quite accurate which species, you guys, because there are boas found in many different parts of the world. It's not just one country, you guys. There's many of them found throughout the world. There's some species here in the United States too. So it really depends on your species that you have. If it's like a rosy boa, let's say for example, temperature range 80-85 is probably a bit accurate right there. But we wanted to go for like a more tropical species, like I said, maybe a Brazilian rainbow boa. Probably at least a minimum day high temperature of 85 degrees. And so, but yeah, definitely not the right one. Now, when it comes to hot spot here, okay, so the hot spot for a boa to thermoregulate is saying 95 degrees plus or minus 5 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 5 degrees Fahrenheit when measured at the surface. There are 3 methods for creating a warm area in your boa's terrarium. I guess it's pretty accurate with the hot spot. So, all right. So another option here it's saying for heat sources is sub-tank and vest. Now, when it comes to those kind of heat pads, I kind of said it here on the channel before. It really, I guess, if you do purchase a under tank heat pad, you guys, it's always best to actually have a thermostat attached to it, because if you just plug in your underpad, you know, attach it to your your Reptile's underside of its tank, and it's not plugged into a thermostat, you guys, that's a fire hazard right there. So if you don't have a thermostat to plug your heat pad in, you're putting your room at risk of being up in flames. So my enclosures, I always want to have a thermostat, which thankfully I do, because you guys have seen my snake rack that I have in my bedroom. It is plugged in with a thermostat to help actually maintain the temperature for my snake's tubs. Because if it didn't come with the thermostat, guarantee you that it would overheat the enclosures instantly. It probably even start melting the plastic for the bins. So it's not really, that's a really serious safety violation there. Alright, so for the feeding, it's still pretty much the same. So we'll put that book aside here. Now we're down to my last book that I have. Hold on a second here. Is this by the same guy? Burmese pythons. Everyone knows Burmese pythons have been so popular in the reptile pet trade for decades. Going as far back as probably like the late 70s, early 80s. And everyone knows too that when it comes to snakes, they think of Burmese pythons as the invasive species in the Florida Everglades. But with that being said though, There are still some breeders out here in the United States, but for the last 10-15 years though, there has been some strict regulations about keeping Burmese pythons. Specifically, for example, in Florida, no one is allowed to own a Burmese python at all, because it's literally not just against the law, but it's also because they are a nuisance down in the Florida Everglades. So it's a pain in the butt. Small Burmese pythons can be kept in number in a well-organized rack system like the one shown here. Do you guys think that's okay? Just your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm not gonna judge you guys. I'm not gonna judge you guys' opinion on it. Okay, smaller tanks like this one shown here are ideal for neonatal Burmese pythons. An enclosure like that, you guys, that's totally unacceptable, especially for a baby one. I mean, if you guys are seeing this person's hand compared to the tank, this tank's probably like 2 or 3 gallon tank right there. And that is not gonna suit a baby Burmese python, not even a hatchling, because hatchlings are about 18, 20 inches long when they first hatch, so it's not gonna suit a baby Burmese python in there, not even close. Because we also gotta remember too, you guys, Burmese pythons, they are one of the largest snakes in the reptile hobby that can get about 18 feet long and weigh a good 200, 300 pounds. And it's crazy how much, what year was this book founded in? The year was 1994. Okay, so yeah, this book is really outdated then. That's almost 30 years. And a lot of effort has been put into keeping all reptiles, you guys, especially Burmese pythons. Okay, an enclosure like this, not acceptable. Not acceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Because a snake like that, you guys, if this Burmese python was around 12, 13 foot long, and if it was in an enclosure like that, that snake's gonna be completely cramped in there. And I know better than that, too. And second of all, why are they showing a boa in a Burmese python book? I mean, I guess it's explaining what mouth rot is with snakes, but that's not a Burmese python though. That's a boa. Good lord. I mean, there is some information in these books that is still usable, but there's also some of it in here that's not acceptable. Like I showed you guys some of those pictures, like of the enclosures, but also some of the heating source material too. Many keepers prefer to offer food items that have already been killed. Even if you do this, chances are a Burmese python will go through the process of constricting it anyway. I mean, yeah, that's how it is with most snakes, whether if you keep a corn snake, king snake, or a boa or a python. Even if it's already been killed, you guys, there's a good chance it's still gonna constrict it anyway. So, I mean, that's what my girl Ellie does. That's what Ariel does too. So, it's really not much. It's not really much of a difference for them whether if it's alive or not. Okay, I guess that's gonna do it for the books. Alrighty then. But if you guys want me to read a little bit more from these books for you, I can do that, but let me know in the comments down below, because really I'm looking as much as I can in these books and I'm not seeing as much bad information as I thought, because they do put a lot of detail in these books. I mean, if you look how thick this book is, that's a pretty good thick book. But then again, some of these books are outdated. These books are like from like 94, 97, and 98, you guys, so. And that's why there are many reptile hobbyists out there, whether it's like Adam from Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles, Emily and Ed from Snake Discovery, or Dave Kaufman, you know, from him. Those guys are very good at accuracy for proper hand care for your pet reptiles. So, I mean, I guess for me, I'm learning still as I go. I'm 21 years old, and I still got a whole lot to go for me, you guys. So, but I've definitely learned a lot though over the years of keeping my snakes, you guys, making sure they have a better enclosure, you guys, a lot more room for them to move around in, places to hide, you know, a great water source for them, and also some proper bedding too for them. So, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think, if I should get some more books, you guys, to read about some good and bad, you know, care guides on this stuff, because like I said, I've read some of these 3 books as starters, and there is some information in here that's not that great, and there is some information that's still acceptable. So, nonetheless though, let's go ahead, head back into the reptile room. And speaking of proper bedding, everybody, I actually decided to add some cocoa fiber bedding in my girl Ariel's tank here so she can actually let herself bury in the bedding here too, because sometimes corn snakes, believe it or not, are known to sometimes like kind of are similar looking to like hog noses sometimes in a way, like they'll try to like bury themselves under like ground a little bit, and this is kind of what my girl Ariel has done with her enclosure here. She kind of buries herself under her bedding, kind of like, I guess, like as like a comfort spot, because when I actually added the Eco Earth bedding in here, she really couldn't bury herself that good because it was so loose and stuff, and she'd be all covered in covered in dirt a lot every time she would come back up, you guys. Like, she'd be all dusty and stuff. So but what this new brand though, this Reptile Prime bedding, you guys, it's actually really nice. It's not so dirty and dusty all the time, you guys, compared to like Eco Earth. So it's really awesome. I'm using it also for Lucy's enclosure too, you guys. So I'll leave a link to the website down below, you guys. Go ahead and check out the Reptile Prime stuff, you guys. So it's so far first time trying it out. I'm having a blast with it. Alright everybody, that's gonna do it here for the vlog here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are new to this channel, if you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button for me and turn on that notification bell, and also feel free to comment down below, you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one.